Hi, everybody, and we are back with another Heart Hustler of the Month. This month, I'm so excited for October to be showcasing Naimah Chaudhry, one of my very best friends. Naimah is literally an angel on earth. She's one of she's
Oh,
the best people I know.
no.
And I'm not going to be biased just because she's my friend, but also there's so much about her that others need to know that she just highlights and provides and is just such a big piece of energy that I'm really excited to interview her today. So Naimah, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I am honored.
Oh, well, first let's share. I want to share how we met. So, me and Naima both went to Palm Beach State and we were in a speech class together. And I think, no, we weren't assigned on a project, but we got close in that speech class. You remember that, right?
I do.
I think her name was like Miss Nichols or something.
Yes, you're right. It was.
Yeah, that was like 10 years ago almost.
My goodness. Wow.
Almost. Time flies. But we were in the speech class together, and then we were in college, and like things happened, we kind of lost contact with each other. She was a year, advanced in her studies than I was when we were starting at Palm Beach State, I think. And she went to UCF, University of Central Florida. I didn't really know about that. And then I transferred to University of Central Florida a year after. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in my psychology class and I see some girl with like really long black hair sitting. It was a lecture hall, so these classrooms were huge.
Oh, yeah.
She was sitting, this girl with really long black hair was sitting all the way in the front, studious. And all of a sudden I'm like, that looks like Naimah. I didn't know anybody when I transferred to UCF, so it was a little intimidating. And all of a sudden I looked at my phone, I'm like, okay, I still have her number. Let me text her. Did you go to UCF and are you in this building right now? And she's like, hey, Anna. Yes, I am. And all of a sudden she turned around and we're like, we were
So excited.
and then from then we realized we had the same class together, so we started studying together. Blood-brain barrier.
That's right.
We got a lot of inside jokes of like we would study together and we would create the stupidest jokes to like learn the material.
Hey, it worked.
It works. Look at us now, right? Because some of that material in psychology, oh my God, it's crazy. But nonetheless, we met in psych class and then we studied together and then we hung out together. We joined the same fraternity, co-ed, AK Psi.
Hey.
This professional, she got me into that. I was like, oh, I definitely want to join that. And yeah, we've been best friends ever since. And we're both working in the psychology field now in the realm. And so what I really want to talk to you about today, Naimah, is you can talk a little bit about what you do as far as where you work, because it's very stress inducing, the line of work she does. And I know it can help others if they're also working in similar fields, especially now. What do you do? And then also, what are some ways you reduce stress in your life?
Okay, so I have been working with children, minor children, since I graduated. I am in child services, child protective services, children who are abused, neglected, abandoned, exploited. I work with foster parents. I work with law enforcement. I work with parents, assisting them to get their children back. And I work with parents who have received their children back and have been reunified. So basically I work in child services.
Okay, so she does a lot with children. Even this morning, we had to change when we were going to interview because she was running to a court case, right? So she's always on the go. Every time I see her, she has like a car seat in the back of her car, and she's not a mom yet. So I was like, girl. So she's always doing the most. Nai, what are some things you can tell us that might help others of how you reduce stress in your life because you work in you see some things, you sometimes see some things that aren't that nice. What are some things you do to help you stay sane at your job? And also, how are you keeping up being so energized?
Well, I don't know if it's a personality thing or what, but I have my moments. I have my days where I'm not as, upbeat and bubbly. But, every job comes with stress. And, being in the field that I'm in, there are some things that I see and witness that are triggering. So it's very important. At the end of the day, it's very, very important to go home and take good care of yourself. The way you're serving your clients and your families and anyone that you're working with, you always have to prioritize yourself as well. So I always keep that in the forefront of my head. And there are days I'm not so good at it, but at the end of the day, I try my best, whatever I can, to make myself happy and alleviate some of the weight on my shoulders and anything that's on my plate. So some of the things I do, I would say, is spending time. I stay in touch every weekend with my friends. We do something. We'll go out to get brunch, or just a shoulder to cry on if needed for those heavy days and heavy moments at work. I am located here in Orlando, so I have the luxury of going to the theme parks. Yeah, so I make sure to spend some time there. There are days where I need alone time, so I'll relax, take a nice soothing music. Things of that nature really help me reduce the stress.
That's good. I think one of the things you talked about was personality. Going into a field that's triggering or that you see some not so pretty things. I think you have to feel yourself out and know if this is your personality, great. And if not, try some new roles out. I know there was a time where you were working in a position where the workforce itself was very toxic and you just didn't, want to bring that home with you every day. Can you talk to us as well when it comes to, your coworkers, your managers being in a toxic environment? What do you do to still stay healthy? And how can someone else, help themselves if they're in a similar situation?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Anna, because you were one of my greatest support systems at the time last year when I was going through some negative experiences in a workplace that was growing to be toxic. I was no longer happy. No doubt that it was deteriorating my health. One of the things I did was sit down, reevaluate my goals, look at my skill set, and see, just kind of dive into my passion. Like, I still want to work with children. However, I cannot work in this particular office or this particular environment. I had to make the tough decision of removing myself from that environment. And the way I took care of myself from all the changes is by enrolling in therapy and participating in sessions once a week. And of course that reduced to every other week, and now, once a month, and seeking guidance from my family and my friends, my close friends, and looking for guidance from a person who's not biased at all, someone with a fresh set of eyes, a professional figure. So I got into therapy.
I love that you are so open about that, because there's a lot of stigma behind going to therapy. People think, oh, you only go to therapy if you're crazy or if you're beyond depressed or stressed. But I think it's good to mention that, therapy, sometimes we just need help with someone else looking at being able to decompress with them. Like you said, they're unbiased, and that we're just able to explain, what we're going through, and they're light years ahead of us because they're able to kind of, through psychology and science, pinpoint what you need to do, how to decompress. I also go to therapy, and I'm not in a toxic work environment. Mine's something completely different. But I think everybody, me and Naimah are both in the psychology realm, so we know how important it is. And even though we're both got our psych degrees, we both have psychologists, right? We're both going to therapy. I'm an IO psychologist myself, and I know how important it is. If I'm pouring out onto others, I still need to energize. So I need somebody working on me. So I need you guys to realize that too, that you need someone working on you for you. And it's very therapeutic, and I love that about Naimah, that she's so open about it, because sometimes even myself, I know it's hard to talk about, like, oh yeah, I go to therapy, because someone right away is like, oh, what's wrong with that person,
We need to break that image. We need to break the negative ties that are with going to therapy. No, it's not for the crazy people, or it's not, you could look as perfect, picture perfect as possible, but even the best of us need a little bit of guidance. And unfortunately and fortunately, our family and friends are biased to a point.
Mm-hmm.
They love us, and sometimes they want to tell us what we want to hear, not what we need to hear. So I'm very open about it. I'm not embarrassed at all, and I feel like it's been life-changing
Yeah.
being a part of therapy.
Absolutely. And I like that part you pointed out. Like, yeah, you can go to your friends to vent. You still need to do that. But then you need to be cautious of how much you're giving them, because then they can be biased. And not only that, but are they in a position to handle the amount of information that you're going to give them? Because they could
Exactly.
use it later on, not to say your friend would do that, but they could bring it back in a conversation when you're heated, and then it might turn a friendship ill. So you have to be careful with how much you vent. And also, when you go to a psychologist, they're trained to do it in a way that it makes you feel good. Because if you're just sitting there venting to a friend, if you're venting for more than 20 minutes, research shows that you're going to feel more toxic than you came into it, and that's not what you wanted, right?
No, that's not effective.
Exactly. So definitely talk. Your friends are there for a reason. Me and I talk
Yeah.
to each other about everything and
Hmm.
anything, but we also know that we need, a professional to be handling us and working with us. So I love that about Nye, that she's so open about it, and encouraged me to go to therapy too, actually. So
Well, I do want to say one thing. You are as good as the energy you're surrounded by. So if you're surrounding yourself by friends and family who are constantly unloading on you, that's not healthy for you.
And we all have our seasons. You're going to have that season where you are down in the dumps for a long time. And yeah, you can make breakthroughs and pull yourself up, but we all have those bumpy roads. All of us have something going on, because life is crazy.
Yes.
We all got our stuff. We all got our baggage. So you have to be cautious of how much you're pouring out. You want to be a positive light. What you put out into the world is what you'll get back. So definitely, um, therapy is a go-to. And
Yes.
one thing else I want to talk about is Nye. She mentioned how she goes to theme parks, but one thing I know about her is that she's a foodie. She always goes.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
will not
her form
deny
of
that.
therapy too. I think she's still with Yelp Elite, right?
I am.
Yeah, she's a Yelp Elite member, and she's constantly posting in the Orlando area, different food places. I know she always does this ice cream place, and it's just very energetic. Now, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So find hobbies, find what you love, and get creative with it. So I know it started when I first moved to Orlando. I was a little sad because it was my first time away from college. I was homesick. I didn't have many friends. It's before you came into the picture, Anna, because I was a year ahead of you in school. And I just explored random restaurants all by myself. I was comfortable being on my own. And from I met a lot of people from all these restaurants. I've built good relationships, and they mentioned, you should try out Yelp Elite. So it just went from there. I started getting on Yelp Elite, meeting friends through there, and it came in handy as soon as I graduated in the professional world, because I'm so busy Monday through Fridays with work that on the weekends I make sure to check out Yelp and see what's out there and go to the next best restaurant and mingle a little bit, eat good food. And it just makes me so happy and energized and prepared to tackle on the following week coming up.
Yes. Nye, you are a woman of wonder. You are able to spend energy, you babysit, you work with children, you're elite, Yelp Elite member, you're a really good friend. I'm so glad to have had you on today. Is there any one last remark that you want to give to anybody who's watching us?
Yes, I would love to share that you are your greatest investment. You have to invest in yourself, in your health, in your well being, your mind, soul, and body. Invest in yourself.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Nye. And everybody watching, stay tuned for the next Heart Hustler of the Month, and take care. Bye.
Bye.